Yes, now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new video. Today is a little bit different because I'm not currently in the home office. I am in the studio of Shits and Gigs, currently on the log cabin set. And as you can see, it's a bit woody. So today I want to show you guys the equipment that we use to film for Shits and Gigs, whether it's in studio or out of studio. I want to peel back the curtain and give you guys a sneak peek on how we get such high quality videos. So for those of you who don't know, Shits and Gigs have two different styles of videos that we record. We have in studio shoots where they'll be sitting at a set just like this, where we'll have all of our cameras set up, they'll have mics ready to go and everything is very controlled. And then we have our out of studio shoots, which are a little bit different. Every out of studio shoot is a challenge in of itself, but that means we have to be prepared for it. And by prepared, I mean bringing whatever we need to get the job done. And majority of it lives right here. So I'm gonna start it off by talking about the bag. So the bag that I use is the Peter McKinnon 25-liter backpack. Now this has been a workhorse for me since I got it. I've literally taken this thing everywhere, whether I've been in country, out of country. It houses everything I need to get a YouTube video done. I mean, minus a couple things, but I'll get to that later. So as you can see, it's got a fair bit of wear and tear, but that's how you know that it is robust and can handle being dropped, being scraped. I've taken this out in rain, in snow, in hot weather, cold weather, and it's held up quite well. Now, am I gonna keep this going forward? Until one of the straps fall off, I'll probably keep this for as long as I can, or if I need to bring more equipment, then I'll get a bigger bag. But for now, this works really well. I've got a space for my handles, big side pockets for water bottles. For this side, I actually put tripods on my gimbal when I'm traveling, so I don't need to hold it. I'll just pop it in, and then I've got this little tie, which I'll tie it around whatever's here, and then clip it in, and then it's nice and secure. Is that the best solution for me? Probably not, but it works for me. And this is what you'll find through majority of the video. Is it the best solution? Probably not, but does it work? And have we created good content with it? Yes, that's what you'll see in a lot of this equipment that I bring out. So our first pocket before we jump into the bag is gonna be the side pocket. So what I'm gonna do is just open this up and show you my laptop of choice. So this is the M1 MacBook Pro that I bought, I wanna say over a year ago. It has ran perfectly for me. I haven't needed to upgrade. This has worked perfectly fine. And until this doesn't work, I'm gonna keep this going. If you want a really good workhorse, have a look at an M1 Pro or an M1 Max laptop. Save yourself a bit of money and go for an older gen, unless you've got those deep pockets. And then And now let's get into the front top pocket. So with this bag, there's two ways you can get into it. You can either get into it from the front, but it only shows you this section of the pocket, or you can lie it down flat, unzip it, and access everything that way. But I want to save that for a moment and show you guys the top pocket. So in the top pocket is where I have all of my quick access items. So anything that I think, I need to grab it quickly, will most likely live in here. So if we open her up, we have a pocket up the front. We have plenty of side pockets for little niggles, little bits and pieces that might roll around and rattle around. And then we've got the main compartment. So in the main compartment, first thing is an LED light. Now you'll never know when you may need an extra bit of light, and having this charged and with you all the time is a very, very good piece of kit to have. Next up, I've raved about these constantly. There are newer versions, but until these don't do what they do anymore, I will keep raving about these. These are the DJI Mic 1s, perfect for run and gun audio. So anytime I think, I need to just slap a mic on someone, I can just take this out, click the record button, and it records internally. I just give them the recorder and they can go about their business and I can still hear them. But you can also throw the receiver on top of your camera and plug a mic cable into your camera and use these as normal Bluetooth wireless audio. So those are my mics. Next up is a recent addition, my GoPro Hero 13. This has been a surprising new addition to the bag, which I can happily say has come in handy more times than I thought it would. So I primarily use this for vlogging, but when I'm out on S&G shoots, there are occasions where I need a camera to be in a tight space or in an angle that our normal cameras can't get to. And this on a magic arm which is just a clampable arm that you can clamp onto things, has been a game changer. So if you ever wanted to know if an action camera is a good piece of kit to have in your bag, I can highly recommend one of these. Whether you go with a GoPro like I have, or if you go with a DJI Action, anything like that is a very good shout. Something small, something nimble. This records 5.7K, I believe, and that aspect ratio makes a sort of square recording. So on a 1080p or 4K timeline, which is 16:9, it gives you freedom to move up and down. Some people call this open gate, where you have the freedom to readjust in post. This definitely has been a very, very, very good addition, and it doesn't leave my side. Next item is going to be the batteries for the GoPro. As much as I love it, it does run out of battery quite quickly, so having some more is always a good shout. Pop that right there. And then our next item is gum. Now this is Airways, menthol and eucalyptus. I chew it just to concentrate, and whilst I'm out and about, it just keeps my mind active. So I can just chew away and be like, oh, okay, cool. Let me think of this, let me think of that. So gum, always, always, always in my bag. Next up, we've got the essentials, a bit of lip kit, and some spritz. This has got my go-to perfume by Versace. Not anything camera related, but it's always nice to have, you know, little creature comforts. And then we have this front pocket, which I keep some of my quick access stuff. So I've got my wallet, then I have my audio cable for my headphones. So when I'm in the studio, when I have my big headphones like these ones, I can just plug, and I'm good to go. And then I have spare headphones for whenever I forget these, which is more common than I would like to admit. I've got these little in-ear earbuds, which are USB-C, fantastic, works really, really well. The sound quality is not terrible, but if I'm in a pinch and I need to edit, I can edit with no problems. So that is everything in the front pocket. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just set all of this to the side. Oh, go on then, it'd be rude not to. I love this smell. This smells amazing. Just before we jump into the main part, like I said, I normally have a tripod or gimbal on the side. The gimbal that I use is the DJI RS2. Now I know that there is an RS3, there's an RS4, there's an RS4 Mini, there's an RS4 Pro, there's however many that there are. I've stuck with the RS2 since I bought it. It's worked for me really, really well. The motors are still good. My camera, which is in here, normally lives on that gimbal because I just love having smooth, stable shots. So that is everything on the outside. Let's head into the bag and open her up for the grand reveal. So let's start with this bit and then we'll get into all of this. So top pocket, I normally have my batteries for my camera. I've recently considered switching over to V-mount batteries because as you can see, I've got a ton of these and these aren't even all of my Sony batteries. Having a bigger battery that can last all day is a better solution for me. Then in the second pocket, I always have a spare set of memory cards. Even if I don't use these, having these in my bag is essential. You should always have backup SD cards. I've got a ton of different ones, different sizes. I've got micro SD cards, micro SD card readers, 128 gig cards, 64 gig cards, everything that I could possibly need on a shoot just in case I forget my normal card case. It just makes sense. Next item in here is a power bank. Always keep it just in case I need to charge my phone or if I'm out and I need directions, but my phone's running low. Then we've got audio cable. So earlier I mentioned with the DJI mics, you can plug them into your cameras. I've got one of these, and believe it or not, I have a spare just in case, and black electrical tape. Now, this is a recent addition and has actually come up handy more times than not because there are sometimes I want to have these mics taped to somewhere that is close to where the talent is. So for example, if they're at a podium and there's a mic there, can I just record from the mic that's, you know, into the PA system and, you know, go down that route? I can do, but what if I can't? Just tape the mic to the mic. Doesn't really change anything, but now I'm getting the direct audio from the person going straight into the mic. So that is a very, very good shout. And I mean, I don't know if you guys can see this, you probably can't, but I've added black electrical tape to my DJI mics because I like the stealth look. All right, now let's get into the main section. So I'll turn it this way so it's easier for me. But let's start with the camera. So my camera of choice that I use for out studio shoots is the Sony FX3. This is a recent addition. I bought this about 3 or 4 months ago, maybe a bit longer. I've also got it skinned in this really cool, dark, wavy, floral effect. I'm not gonna lie to you, I had a horrible time trying to put all of this on. I've never like skinned anything before, so this was a very, very good shout. And like I said earlier, my camera lives on my gimbal. The gimbal plate is still on it. So that's my camera of choice for my A cam. So let's talk about my B camera, and my B camera is the Sony FX30. Now this is a good second option if I need 2 cameras going at one time. Normally me and Ellis will run 2 FX3s, my one and his one, and then this one will be the third one if I need to prop it on a tripod and just have a wider angle, just static. This is a fantastic camera to have, and it is a great addition to the camera bag. Let's talk about lenses. So first lens is the Tamron 28-75 with a 1:5 ND filter on top. So this has been my go-to lens for majority of shoots since I got it, because A, it's a 2.8. It means it's gonna be better in low light, and B, it's actually quite surprisingly fast for autofocus. I thought it was gonna be a little slower, not as quick and responsive as Sony lenses, but I've been happily surprised, and I'm really glad that I bought this, because the lens that I was using beforehand is by far my favorite lens, but the only drawback is the f-stop. I wish it had a 2 or 2.8 aperture, and the lens in question is the Sony 24-105 f4. Now, I love this lens. I will rave about this lens till the day I lose breath, because this lens is the perfect all-arounder. The only problem is that it doesn't have a lower aperture number. If this went to 2 or 2.8, this would be the lens I use for everything. To be fair, I'd still probably use this for everything anyway, because it's such a workhorse. This lens is optically stabilized, so if I want to go handheld, I can do. If I throw it on a gimbal, everything looks so smooth. Even though it has a bit of barrel extension, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's heavy, but not too heavy. The autofocus is quick, it's snappy, it's responsive. This lens I could rave about all day. Next lens in the kit everybody should have is a wide angle lens, whether you have a fixed wide angle or a zoom. I have the f4 16-35. This has been one of the earliest lenses that I bought, has been a workhorse for me for real estate shoots, for shits and gigs, for a lot of YouTube shoots. This has been a very, very good workhorse. So those are my cameras and those are my lenses. The next really important piece, which I get to use very infrequently, but is always really, really good to have, is my drone. Now this is the DJI Mini 3 Pro. Yes, there is the Mini 4 Pro. Yes, it's probably a bit better, but this has been a workhorse for me. I absolutely love this. It's good for when you need drone shots in a pinch, and because of the lightweight nature, you can take this almost anywhere. So if I want to fly with this, if I'm going abroad, or if I want to go to anywhere that drone laws are a bit more, you know, extensive, having one of these is always going to be a better option. Now, is it going to handle itself well when it's really, really windy? Not really. It does move about a fair bit, but this is definitely a good drone to have in a pinch. And it doesn't take up too much space in the bag as well, which is great. I also have in the bag, that fell off, is the holder for the drone. And I also have a set of ND filters. So just like the ND filters on my lens, instead of being able to manually change them as and when, these are more fixed. So if it's really, really bright outside, I have ND filters that go up to 128. So if it's really, really sunny, I'm prepared. And lastly, for the drone, I have a set of drone batteries that come in this really handy case. As you can see, everything is labeled. Everything you've seen so far has been labeled, just because we have so much of the same kit in studio and out of studio. Yeah, it's always good to label your stuff. This is just a simple case with all of my drone batteries. It tells me how much charge each battery has, and if, you know, I don't see 4 bars, it's going on charge. Next up, a very small but very useful piece of kit. This is an L bracket. So before I had the FX30 or the FX3, I had an A7 III, which doesn't have any mounting holes on the side. So if I ever wanted to flip my camera sideways and shoot portrait, I wasn't able to do that without this. So all you do is you connect, probably the wrong camera to use that for because it's got the plate on it. All you do is just connect the plate to the bottom, screw it in, when it wants to behave. There we go. And then you have some mounting holes at the bottom that you can pop on a tripod, and now you can film away in portrait. Really, really good addition to have. It is actually surprisingly cheap, which I wasn't expecting, but I'm very glad that it is. I think I got this for about 11 quid. I got this at the very start of my journey. When I first became a videographer, this was one of the first things that I picked up after my very first shoot, actually. My very first shoot, I bought this for my Panasonic G7. It's helped out massively and has been in every camera bag I've ever had. So last but definitely not least is going to be audio. Now, as you can hear, I'm currently mic'd up with one of the mics that I use for out of studio shoots. And the mics I use are the Tascam DR10L Pro. Now, I did originally buy two DR10Ls, which are these. They were fantastic. They last pretty long. They run on AAA batteries, but with these, you only put one in. So you're limited to about 2 hours, 2 and a bit hours. Whereas the new ones, these are the Tascam DR10L Pros. These, you have 2 AAA batteries in them, and these can last, I've tested, up to about 6.5 hours on a single charge. Maybe even longer if you've got really, really strong batteries, but for the most part, these are really, really good. They're so good, I bought 4 of them to go with the 2 DR10Ls that I already have. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm probably gonna be buying more. So the final item in the bag is the Tascam lavalier mics. So these came with the mics, and they are a fantastic option. They work really, really well. You just plug them in, mic up your talent, and then you are good to go. For the most part, that is absolutely everything that's in this bag. I mean, I've got a cleaning cloth in here, which probably doesn't get used as much as it should do, but I have cleaning cloths at home that on occasion I will wipe everything down and make sure everything's clear, especially the glass, because the ND filters do get a bit fingerprinty. Sometimes you miss the mark, sometimes you might get your thumb on the glass, which isn't great because sometimes you see it in the image. So a little cleanup is good now and then, but for the most part, that is absolutely everything. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pack all of this back in, and then I'm gonna show you the studio. All right, so you've seen everything that's in my bag, and you've seen everything that we bring on an out of studio shoot, but we are currently in the studio, so it would be a shame not to show you guys around the actual studio. So obviously we are in the log cabin set. This is where the boys have their exclusive show on Patreon. If you're not already over there, head over to patreon.com/shitsandgigs and become a tier 2 member so you can watch all the magic that happens in here. Very woody. We are in a brand new space. This is the second office that I've been a part of. Basically, we fit everything in here and we've still got a ton of space. So first things first, we have the producer desks. So we have Ellis's desk here and we've got Rem's desk here. Normally we keep them quite light just because me, Rem, Fally, Ellis and Ray all work on laptops. So it doesn't matter for us to have a full computer setup here. So we're just gonna hot plug our laptops in and get everything working regardless of whatever the show is. But on the desks always are gonna be the mics. So the mics that we run are the Shure SM7Bs that are plugged into a Focusrite, which is in this behemoth. Now this is a new addition that we've added, which has helped out massively. So this is a recording rack. It houses all of our audio and all of our signals from the cameras. So instead of us recording directly to the cameras, it will record to the rack, and the rack will pass all of that information over to our NAS. Our NAS holds all of our footage, so all we need to do is just come in, set everything up, plug ourselves in, click record, and then we're good to go. That has helped out massively because beforehand, we used to just record straight to SD cards, which is okay, it still works. Sometimes it's good to do that, but this has made it so much easier. So as you can see, we have the main set. Very woody, very lovely. A nice little change of pace from the last set that we had. Again, the boys' chairs, pretty straightforward, don't need to talk about them. Again, 2 more SM7Bs, the classic black and clear table. Everyone's had one of these tables or, TV stands once in their life. I mean, I had 2 of them and I don't actually know where the second one is. But the main thing I want to talk about is the lighting. So back here, behind the boys, we have 2 RGB panels from Newer. Them man. If you want to try and find these, good luck because they're discontinued, but these are fantastic. Really, really powerful, show up very, very well on camera. And one thing that we added to the set that has actually paid off massively are these little Govee lights that we have at the bottom. They just add a bit of uplighting. So when you see it from the wide camera, it just adds a nice little pop of glow between the boys, which has helped out massively. So that's the main set, all the lighting, everything straightforward for that. This is the React set. So it's pretty straightforward. We have the LED sign that we turn on, and then we have another one of these newer panels. This, instead of it be blue, we shine this as purple right behind the sofa. Again, just adds that nice little pop of glow right behind the boys so they're not so flat against the wall. The one thing that I haven't told you guys about is the cameras that we use. Now, I have on many occasions since working here at S&G been bombarded with messages in my DMs saying, what cameras do you guys use? Because it looks crispy. And I'm not gonna lie to you, when I came in here for the very first time, I was surprised because I thought, you know, the boys would probably be on some Blackmagics or some higher end Sony cameras. No. They use these. These are the Sony a6600s. Now, granted, they are APS-C cameras. These are fantastic cameras. They have such a nice, clear picture profile. Everything looks crisp, nothing's too overdone. Some cameras you can get where the colors are really, really harsh and you have to turn them down later in post. We get a great image just out of camera. There's no log, there's no extra processing that the camera's doing. Everything is bog standard. The only thing that we change is the lenses. So for the main pod, we use 5 cameras. So 1 wide, 2 closes, 1 on Ellis, and then 1 on Rem. For log cabin, it's pretty much the same. And for Reacts, it's 1 less because there's only ever 1 producer at a time. And to be honest, that's it. There is something that's going on in this space. As you can see, it's quite open, but I can't tell you too much on that because I don't want to give away too much, or technically I'm not allowed to give it away. But either way, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned a little bit about how we get things done. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe because I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help. Anyway, with that all being said, as always, I appreciate your time and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.